Imagine this. You're 2 years old. Your father just ran away from the city. He paid people to help him escape. But you and your mother, you're still inside enemy walls.
He left his own kid behind?
Yes, this baby grew up hated, called names, hiding every day. But at 13, he became king. At 22, he crushed a rebellion inside his own palace. At 39, he became the first emperor in history.
The first emperor? Of all of China?
Of the whole world, no one had ever used that word before. He invented it. And then at 49, he drank mercury.
Mercury, the poison.
He thought it was medicine to live forever. And here's the crazy part. 2,200 years later, his tomb is still sealed. Inside, rivers of mercury are still flowing. The Chinese government said, "We will not open it."
Why not?
We'll get to that. His body is gone, but his name became truly immortal. This is the story of Qin Shi Huang. Okay, 259 BC, a city called Handan, in the kingdom of Zhao. Now, China wasn't one country back then, it was 7 kingdoms fighting each other. And the kingdom of Qin sent a prince to Zhao as a hostage.
Hostage? What does that mean exactly?
A hostage is a person kept by the enemy, like a promise. If you attack us, your prince dies, that kind of deal. This prince's name was Zichu, and in Handan he met a woman, a dancer. They had a baby boy, his name was Ying Zheng. That baby would become Qin Shi Huang.
So the future emperor was born in enemy land?
Yes, and it gets worse. When the baby was 2, war broke out. Zhao wanted to kill all the Qin hostages. The father escaped. Someone paid the guards to let him go. But the 2-year-old boy and his mother left behind.
For how long?
9 years. For 9 years, this boy lived in hiding. People called him names. They said he had no real father, that he was nobody.
That's horrible. He was just a child.
And those 9 years of fear, they shaped everything he became. Now, there's one man who made all of this happen. A merchant named Lu Bue. One day, Lu Bue was walking through a market in Handan, and he saw Zichu, the forgotten prince dressed in rags. And Lu Bue said something famous. This is a rare commodity worth investing in.
Commodity, like a product.
Exactly. A commodity is something valuable you buy and sell, like gold. He was looking at a human being and thinking, good investment.
That's cold.
Very cold, but smart. He asked Zichu a question. If you sell farmland, you make 10 times your money. If you sell jewels, you make 100 times. But if you help someone become king, the profit is endless.
So he was buying a future king?
That's exactly what he did. He spent a fortune. He bribed the right people, got Zichu named as the next heir to the throne. And then he gave Zichu something else, his own woman, the dancer.
Wait, the mother of Ying Zheng was Lu Bue's woman first?
That's what the old records say. And 12 months later, a son was born.
12 months? That's longer than normal.
Right, and that started a debate that lasted 2,000 years. Who was really the father, Zichu or Lu Bue?
So was Lu Bue the real father?
Most modern scholars think no. They believe it was made up later. But back then, that rumor followed the boy his whole life. So, the plan worked. Zichu became king of Qin. But then something strange happened. In just 4 years, 3 kings died, one after another.
3 kings in 4 years?
The grandfather died. Then his son took the throne and died 3 days later.
3 days?
3 days, then Zichu became king and lasted 3 years. And when Zichu died, guess who was next?
The boy, Ying Zheng.
A 13-year-old kid sitting on the throne of the most powerful kingdom in China. But a 13-year-old can't really rule, right? So Lu Bue stepped in. He became the regent.
Regent? What's that?
A regent is someone who rules when the king is too young. Lu Bue called himself second father to the king. He controlled everything, the army, the money, the decisions.
So the kid had no real power.
None, and it got worse. Lu Bue started seeing the boy's mother again, in secret.
While her son was king?
Yes, but Lu Bue got scared of getting caught. So he found a replacement, a man named Lao Ai. He disguised Lao Ai as a eunuch and sent him into the palace.
A fake eunuch in the palace?
A fake eunuch, living with the king's mother, having children with her. 2 secret sons.
So everyone around this boy was lying to him.
Everyone. His regent, his mother, even the man pretending to serve him. The boy king was surrounded by traitors, and he knew it. 238 BC, April, Yingzheng was 22. It was his coming-of-age ceremony, the day he would officially take power. And on that exact day, Lao Ai made his move.
The fake eunuch?
The fake eunuch, he stole the royal seal and used it to raise an army. He tried to take the throne.
On the king's own coronation day?
On his coronation day, but the young king didn't panic. He put out a reward. Capture Lao Ai alive, 1 million coins, kill him, 500,000. The rebellion was crushed within hours.
What happened to Lao Ai?
Torn apart, his body was pulled in 5 directions by horses.
Oh my God.
And the 2 secret sons, his mother's children with Lao Ai, killed, both of them. They were just babies. His mother was locked away. 27 officials begged the king to forgive her. He killed them all.
All 27.
All 27. Then a 28th man walked in. He said, "You killed your fake father, you killed your brothers, you locked up your mother. The whole world will say you have no love in your heart." And the king stopped. He ran down the stairs without his shoes and brought his mother back.
So somewhere inside he still cared.
Maybe, but Lu Bue, he wasn't so lucky. The king sent him a letter, just 3 lines. "What have you ever done for Chen? Why do you call yourself my second fathers?" Lu Bue read it and drank poison.
A 3-line letter killed a man.
At 25, Yingzheng stood alone. No regent, no puppet master. Just a king with a kingdom and a plan to swallow the entire world. Now the war begins. From 230 to 221 BC, 10 years, 6 kingdoms, all gone.
He took down 6 kingdoms in 10 years?
One by one, he didn't just conquer them, he annexed them.
Annexed? Is that different from conquered?
Yes, conquer means you beat them. Annex means they disappear completely. No more king, no more name, just part of Qin now. Han fell in 1 year, the easiest. Ajao was next, and this one was personal.
Personal? Why?
Remember Handan, the city where he grew up hated and afraid? When his army took Handan, he went there himself. And the people who had bullied him as a child, he buried them alive.
He remembered, after all those years.
He never forgot. Wei was destroyed by water. His general flooded the whole capital for 3 months. Shu was the hardest. His first general took 200,000 soldiers and lost.
Lost? With 200,000?
Completely. So the king called his oldest general, Wang Jian. Wang Jian said, "I need 600,000. And you know what he did with 600,000 soldiers? He waited.
Waited?
For a whole year, his soldiers just played games, threw stones for fun. The enemy ran out of food, then he attacked.
Smart.
And Qi, the last kingdom, they surrendered without a fight. Their king was promised land. Instead, he was sent to a forest and starved to death.
So the one who didn't fight got the worst ending.
In 10 years, 7 kingdoms became one, and one man stood at the top. But during those 10 years, people tried to kill him 3 times. And the first one is the most famous assassination attempt in Chinese history.
What happened?
227 BC, a swordsman named Jing Ke was chosen to kill the king of Qin. Before he left, his friends gathered at the Yi River to say goodbye. A musician played, and Jing Ke sang. The wind blows cold over the Yi River. The warrior leaves and will never return.
He knew he was going to die.
He walked away without looking back. His plan was clever. He carried 2 gifts for the king. First, a box with the head of a wanted general, a real head.
A real head?
The general cut off his own head, so Jingke could use it to get close to the king. Second, a rolled-up map, but inside the map there was a dagger dipped in poison. So Jingke walked into the throne room, unrolled the map slowly, and at the very end of the map, the dagger appeared. He grabbed the king's sleeve with one hand, dagger in the others.
Did he get him?
The king ripped his sleeve and ran around a pillar. His sword was too long. He couldn't pull it out while running. A doctor threw his medicine bag at Jing Ke to slow him down. Someone shouted, "Put the sword on your back!" The king swung the sword behind him, pulled it out, and cut Jing Ke's leg. 8 strikes. Jing Ke died leaning against the pillar.
That's like a movie scene.
It's been told for 2,200 years. There's a saying from this moment. When the map unrolls, the dagger appears. It means the truth finally comes out. The second attempt, Jing Ke's friend, a musician. They blinded him, but he filled his instrument with lead and swung it at the king. Missed. The third, a man threw a 60-kilogram iron hammer at the king's carriage. Hit the wrong car.
3 tries. All failed.
He almost died 3 times, but 3 times he survived. And the thing that finally killed him, it wasn't a dagger or a hammer. It was something he drank willingly, but that comes later. 221 BC, he was 39, all 6 kingdoms were gone. And now he had a problem.
A problem? He just won everything.
The word king wasn't big enough. Every kingdom had a king. He wanted a word that no one had ever used. So he took 2 ancient words, Huang from the 3 sovereigns,
Sovereign? What's that?
the highest ruler. In ancient China, the 3 sovereigns were like gods who ruled the earth. He took Huang from them and Di from the 5 great emperors of legend. Put them together, Huangdi, emperor. a word that had never existed before.
He literally made up a new title for himself.
And he said, I am the first emperor, my son will be the second, my grandson the third, and so on for 10,000 generations.
10,000 generations? That's a big dream.
It lasted 15 years.
15?
But the word emperor, that lasted 2,133 years until 1912. And he didn't just make a new title, he rebuilt the whole country. 7 kingdoms meant 7 different writing systems, he made one. 7 different coins, he made one. 7 different ways to measure weight, he made one. Even the width of roads, every wheel had to be the same size.
So he basically created the operating system for a country.
And 2,200 years later, China still runs on it. So he had the title, he had the land, he had the power. But there was one more thing he wanted.
What else is there?
Heaven's approval. In 219 BC, he climbed Mount Tai, the most sacred mountain in China. He performed a ceremony called the Feng Shan, asking heaven for its mandate.
Mandate.
A mandate is an order from above. The mandate of heaven means heaven chose you to rule. After the ceremony, he traveled to the coast and stayed for 3 months, staring at the ocean.
Why the ocean?
Because a man came to him, a mystic named Shu Fu. Su Fu said, beyond the sea there are 3 magic mountains. Immortals live there, and they have the medicine to live forever.
And the emperor believed him?
He had everything a human could have, land, power, wealth. The only thing he couldn't buy was time. So yes, he sent Shu Fu out to sea. Shu Fu came back and said, a giant fish blocked our way.
That sounds like an excuse.
It was, but the emperor's obsession had already begun. Now, while the emperor chased immortality, he was also building the Great Wall.
The Great Wall of China? That's him?
Well, yes and no. He sent General Meng Tian north with 300,000 soldiers, plus over 1 million workers conscripted.
Conscripted? What's that?
Forced to work. These weren't volunteers. They were taken from their farms, their families. And when they fell from exhaustion, their bodies were packed into the wall.
Inside the wall?
The wall was made of packed earth. If you collapsed, they covered you with dirt and kept building. People called it the Tomb Wall. There's a famous legend about this, Lady Meng Jiang. Her husband was taken to build the wall just 3 days after their wedding. She walked all the way there to find him. But he was already dead, inside the wall. She cried for 3 days, and the legend says her tears broke 800 li of wall.
That's heartbreaking.
But here's something most people don't know. The Great Wall you see in photos, the one tourists visit.
That's not his wall.
No, that was built by the Ming Dynasty over 1,000 years later. The original Qin Wall, it's mostly dirt mounds in the desert now.
So the famous wall isn't even his.
The wall we see is not his, but the idea was. 213 BC, the emperor gave an order. Burn the books.
What books?
History books from the 6 kingdoms, poetry, philosophy, all of it. He gave everyone 30 days. Bring your books to the government office. If you didn't, death.
He didn't just censor them, he destroyed them.
Wait, what's the difference between censor and ban?
Ban means you stop something. Censor means you cut out the parts you don't like. But what he did was beyond both. He burned everything. The next year it got worse. Some of his mystics ran away. The emperor was furious. He rounded up over 460 scholars and buried them alive.
460 people? Alive?
Here's an interesting twist, though. Modern scholars think most of them weren't actually scholars. They were mystics, fortune-tellers, people who promised him eternal life and lied.
So he killed them for lying about immortality.
Probably, but his oldest son, Fusu, spoke up. "Father, this is too cruel. The people will turn against us." The emperor's response, he sent Fusu away to the northern border, far from the capital, far from the throne.
He punished his own son for being kind.
And that decision, sending Fusu away, 3 years later it would destroy everything he built. While all this was happening, another project was running. For 39 years, since the day he became king. His tomb. 700,000 workers building a city underground.
700,000?
The site was bigger than 19 Yoedo Islands. But nobody knew what was inside for over 2,000 years. Until 1974, a farmer was digging a well. His shovel hit something hard, a clay head. The villagers were scared. They thought it was an evil spirit.
An evil spirit?
It was a soldier, made of clay, life-sized. And there weren't just a few, there were 8,000 of them.
8,000 clay soldiers underground?
The terracotta army, each face different, each one unique. But here's what breaks my heart. They weren't gray.
What do you mean? They look gray in every photo.
Originally, they were covered in bright colors, red, green, purple, blue. But when the dirt was removed and air touched them, the paint started changing in 15 seconds. In 4 minutes, the color peeled off completely.
4 minutes. 2,200 years of color gone in 4 minutes.
The gray soldiers we see today are just the ghosts of what they used to be. Remember Zhu Fu, the mystic who said there were magic mountains in the sea?
The one who said a giant fish blocked him?
That's him. In 210 BC, the emperor gave him one more chance. This time, the emperor went to the coast himself. He shot a giant fish with a crossbow. There, no more excuses. Go find my elixir.
Elixir? What's that?
A magic drink. An elixir is a potion that can cure anything or make you live forever. So Zhu Fu sailed out again, 60 ships, and on those ships, 3,000 young boys and girls, craftsmen, seeds for 5 types of grain.
Wait, he took 3,000 children?
And he never came back. The old records say he found good land and made himself king.
He tricked the emperor and ran away with 3,000 kids?
That's the story. And here's something interesting. In Jeju Island, South Korea, there's a city called Sogwipo. The name means the port where he returned to the West. And in Japan, there are shrines dedicated to Zhu Fu.
So people in Korea and Japan still remember him.
The man who tricked an emperor and the 3,000 children who never came home. Zhu Fu was gone, but the emperor didn't stop looking. Other mystics brought him pills, red pills, made of mercury, sulfur, and lead. They called it the elixir of immortality.
Mercury again. The poison.
But at first it seemed to work. His skin got tighter, smoother.
So it looked like a miracle.
But mercury destroys your nerves, slowly. His hands started shaking. He became paranoid, more and more cruel. He connected 270 palaces with secret tunnels so no one could find where he slept.
270 palaces. That's not paranoia, that's a maze.
Imagine being his housekeeper.
I don't think you'd want that job.
July 210 BC, he was on his 5th tour across the empire. And at a place called Shakiu, he collapsed. He was 49 years old.
The elixir of immortality killed him.
Before he died, he wrote a letter to his son Fusu, the one he had sent away. But the letter was never sent. A eunuch named Zhao Gao took the royal seal. He wrote a fake letter to Fusu instead. Your father orders you to die.
A fake letter telling the prince to kill himself?
Fusu's general begged him, "This doesn't feel right. Ask for proof." But Fusu said this, "My father has ordered me to die. What right do I have to question him?" And he took his own life.
He killed himself over a lie.
Meanwhile, the emperor's body was rotting in summer heat. Zhao Gao needed to hide it for 50 days, over 1,000 kilometers. So he loaded every carriage with salted fish to cover the smell.
The ruler of the world came home buried in the smell of fish.
The man who wanted to live forever couldn't even keep his death a secret. His empire fell apart fast. His second son took the throne and was forced to kill himself at 22. Zhao Gao was assassinated. The last Qin ruler surrendered after 46 days. 15 years. That's how long the empire lasted.
10,000 generations. He got 15 years.
A farmer named Chen Sheng led the first rebellion. He shouted, "Do kings and generals come from special blood? No." That one sentence changed China forever. But here's the thing. Under the hill where they buried him, the underground palace is still sealed. 226 years and counting.
Nobody has ever opened it?
No, scientists tested the soil. Mercury levels are 280 times higher than normal. That matches what the ancient historian wrote 2,000 years ago. He said there were rivers of mercury inside, automatic crossbow traps, candles made from mermaid oil that would burn forever.
And the mercury part turned out to be true.
Science proved it, so what else in there might be real? The Chinese government said this: "We will not dig, not until future technology can protect what's inside."
So the tomb is still waiting.
His empire lasted 15 years, but his system lasted 2,133 years. His name has lasted 2,226 years and counting. So let's think about this. A hostage's child, hated, abandoned, called a nobody. He became king at 13, crushed a rebellion at 22. United all of China at 39, invented the word emperor, and then spent his last years chasing something he could never catch.
Time.
He wanted to live forever. He drank poison trying. His body rotted in a fish cart. His empire fell in 15 years. But 226 years later, we're still talking about him. His body is gone, but his name, truly immortal.
He got what he wanted, just not the way he planned.
76 meters below that hill, rivers of mercury still flow. Someday, someone will open that door. Until then, he's still down there, in his underground empire. So here's my question. If you could build something that lasts 2,000 years, but you'd never see it finished, would you still build it? Have you ever felt like that? Working on something and wondering if it even matters? Let me know in the comments. Next time, we've got another story, another life that changed the world.
Who is it?
You'll have to wait and see. See you next time.